Grab my iPad.
Three, two, one, go.
Alrighty. So,
Oh, careful.
we are live. Turn that down. All right. So, thank you all for joining. We don't have any viewers yet because we just started, but I just want to introduce myself and we're going to go down the line so that I can start sharing. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sickle Cell Experience Parenting Series featuring myself, Howard. I am the co-founder and co-host of the Sickle Cell Experience. I'm a writer, filmmaker, photographer, graphic designer, all-around creative being, and I am the daughter of a sickle cell patient. My mother passed away from complications of sickle cell, and I am, as you can see, my most important job of all is being a mother of a beautiful trait warrior. That is who I am in a nutshell. I'm going to sit over to Dima and we can go down the line so that I can share this and everybody can join.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Dima Hendrix. I am a Sickle Cell warrior.
1 second. Nyla wants to introduce herself.
Oh, go ahead, Nyla.
I'm so sorry. Nyla wants to introduce herself. Everybody who have kids, their kids can feel free to introduce themselves if they're going to join us. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name's I'm my favorite color. I want to grow up. I want to be a doctor. I need to be physical. And then I'm going to help babies be born.
All right.
That's awesome.
Dima, feel free.
That's a great ambition, Nyla. Good to have you on. And my name is Dima Hendrix. I'm a Sickle Cell warrior. I'm a parent of 2 trait warriors. I'm also the founder of the Through the Pain movement and Through the Pain apparel. I have a new book coming out soon called Unleashing Royalty. And that's enough about me. Nikita?
Hello, I am Nikita Connor. I am a sickle cell warrior. I have sickle cell SS. I am the owner of Sick Apparel and Accessories, where I sell merchandise to spread awareness for sickle cell. I have my daughter here.
Hi.
Tell me your name.
I'm Amori.
And you have sickle cell trait.
I have sickle cell trait.
And she's 12. That's my daughter. She has a trait only.
Awesome.
My turn?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lena, and I am a 36-year-old sickle cell warrior. I was born in 85 in Chicago, Illinois, and this was at a time where apparently there were no newborn screenings. So I slipped through the cracks and was not diagnosed with my illness until I was 4 years old. But I have a wonderful sickle cell story, which is, brand new for me because I recently started on Oxbryta, which is a newer medication, and it's worked wonders. It has worked wonders for me, even more so than hydroxyurea. And so even though I've come to learn and understand that my experience, since it's so sharp of a turn in my health, to such a drastic improvement, that's not necessarily typical, of this medication. But my experience is my experience, and so I'm allowing myself to, build a new advocacy life. I've been a sickle cell advocate for many years. However, now that I have a lot less pain, a lot less fatigue, and more bandwidth for my life. I have been in overdrive trying to make a difference in the sickle cell warrior world and community. So I'm here to help and share and just, learn some things, hopefully, some coping mechanisms, you know. Go ahead, Master.
My name is Master Burt. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm an artist and a father of two, one with sickle cell. Um, that's about it.
What do you do? You said you're an artist?
Yeah, I'm an artist.
Are you like a paint? Do you paint? What's your medium? Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I didn't know
Thank
that,
you.
Master.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
Y'all, I'll be on live painting sometimes too. So if y'all
I'm
add me,
gonna tag
y'all
you.
see. Huh? I can't hear you. Is you talking,
Sabrina,
Shay?
you're going in and out.
Is she talking?
I think so.
Shaman, we
Pretty
can't.
talented over
You're
there.
going in and out.
That's tonight. Oh, okay. We're sorry. I'm almost done shooting.
Okay, you sound better right there.
Is it me?
Yeah, it sounds a lot better.
Okay, let me see. Okay. Is this better? Is it better?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear that now. Yeah. Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
Okay. So, we're going to have a conversation tonight. As you can see, we got a couple of kids to join us to talk personally about their experiences. So I'm excited. All right. And if you're watching a different device and you're doing us, if you could just turn the volume all the way down, because that might be the feedback too. So, um, anyone is watching from a different device, just make sure you turn it all the way down. Okay. So today we will be discussing the emotional experience of our kids due to our very intricate life of this unfortunate illness called sickle cell disease. And we're also going to be talking the issues our children may be facing during COVID and the pandemic. And, what will look like. What about the curricular activities? Is it more difficult to maintain, start a healthy balance of time with or without in these times? So, we're just going to kind of jump right into it. I hope you all can hear fine. I for the parents in the room, which is, have you had the sickle cell talk with your kids? What I mean by that is, what it is, how it affects your body, the life expectancy, how much do you share, how much is too much if there is a such thing as parent. You feel being more or less transparent helps them or hinders them in the long run. I know that was a mouthful, but we're just gonna jump right and have that conversation. Whoever would like
Okay.
to start, you know. Matter of fact, Lena.
Sure, sure. I talking about sickle cell in my household is absolutely something that comes up every day. Like you know, my son is 8 years old. He's in the third grade. Um, I have sickle cell disease. He has the trait, and he is not, I wouldn't necessarily call him symptomatic. He doesn't have pain, but he does have some, lethargic ways, but um I don't think he's anemic or anything like that, but he just definitely prefers to chill out. Y'all know what I mean? Like when he is too hot or too active, he's just like, please no. Like he likes to play like every other kid, but it's just his preference, you know what I mean? And I kind of attribute that to him just not having as much oxygen as the rest of the kids. I mean, trait warriors have their very own set of issues and complications, just like we warriors do. So when he was younger, when my son was younger, um, I was a lot sicker than I am today. I My sickle cell got pretty rough for me in my basically like since puberty and on. Like I have, I mean, before that, it was one type of crises that I was experiencing over and over. And then once puberty hit, they changed and they got worse, they got much more intense. And, as I grew up and became a woman and an adult woman, I realized that I had to do a lot in order to keep myself at a level where everyone else just starts at in the morning. Like I had to work to get to that point. I had to do a lot of, foundational bricklaying, and planning in order to prepare for the next day. Because with sickle cell, every day you have to climb a mountain. It doesn't matter where you're going. It doesn't matter, what your purpose is for going there. It's just when you wake up, you have a mountain to climb, whether you like it or not. And so as I gathered the strength to do that every day with a young child, a young boy, who had all the energy, that that a young boy is born with, I found it extremely difficult to keep up with him in a way where it was physical, where he needed that physical stimulation. I could stimulate him in various other ways very easily. Like I said, we taught him how to read ASAP. You must know how to communicate and will. Okay, especially as a little Black boy living in a society where people want to pixelate you with their mind. You know what I'm saying? So my husband and I have made sure that my son understands what sickle cell is, understands that it's nothing that you can catch or give, in that manner. He understands that it does cause pain and surprise hospital runs, he understands these things. Luckily for us, even though we've discussed it with him and I've let him know several times, the kind of ins and outs of it, luckily, because of how things have just been going for us the last few years, he has not had to really like it hasn't pulled him down. I saw it, a few times when I was really sick. Sometimes a few years ago, I saw it kind of making him, close in on himself. And because it's hard to see your mom sick and then every day. That's difficult, for a young child. But now that I have a bigger, chunk of health and I'm able to be more present and active with him, physically, whether that's going to our favorite playground or taking the puppy out for, a walk or a run, I can do that now. Like I can do that. And so I've seen it improve his mental health. his mental, his mindfulness, because he sees me improving myself every day. He sees me fighting every single day. And so that makes it so that he doesn't have any other option but to win, because I'm a winner. So are you. So that's how we look at it now. You know what I'm saying? But there have been days, there have been nights where, yes, I have had to talk to him and apologize to him for the things I couldn't do and how badly I felt, when he's expressing his little emotions to me. We have had some instances where I've cried and apologized to my son because I simply couldn't be there for him for whatever it was. So it's taken a toll, but we turn our lemons into lemonade every day. Every day.
Next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's okay?
Awesome.
Okay, well,
Nikita, do you want to add to that?
uh, that's fine. Yeah. In my household, we do discuss sickle cell often because, of course, it is a part of my everyday life, and I've explained to her. I think at different levels of her life and her understanding, I've explained it the best I could so that she would understand it. Like even from a little baby, she knew like when I was in the hospital, but I knew that it affected her because of her behavior or her like she would shut down and things like that. So in order to not have her feel that way, I would always have to like try to find ways to keep her from feeling like that. Like I did. I bought her a cell phone super early because when I'm in the hospital, if she feels like she wants to talk, I just want to be available to her all the time. So she knows about the disease. She knows the things that I've overcame, like as far as like what I've been told by doctors. I mean, I don't I don't hide much from her when it comes to my illness, but I do try to explain things to my best of my ability for her to understand. And I don't want to, alarm her or anything like that. So we talk about it. I let her express how she feels to me. She asks me the questions. She knows my hematologist. She knows like I allow her to come to the doctors, hospitals, when things are not just some situations I think you don't always want your child to be present, but I do allow her to visit at times prior to COVID. But I think we have a pretty transparent, like, understanding and conversation when it comes to the disease and what I go through. She knows it's not contagious. She knows, what to look for. She even gets to the point to where she's like, if she sees me dragging, or she'll be like, "Mama, I want you to sit down," or "Mama, this, you need to be calm," or she's always worried, but and that part gets to me, but she's alert to what's going on with me in the disease, and she has the trait, so she knows how the trait affects her as well. She knows she's asymptomatic. Basically, she doesn't like, she'll get hot from time to time, and maybe I'll make her drink a lot of water and fluids when we're out, but she doesn't experience the hard part of sickle cell, which I'm grateful, but she knows everything that comes along with it.
Yeah. Yeah. My son does that too. He's like, "Mama, here's your water."
That's her all day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey,
Um,
Shay.
so for my household, I
Dima,
don't
you
talk
have
about
any to
life
add?
expectancy. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hmm.
Okay. So for my whole household, we don't talk about life expectancy
Yes.
because that always changes. It's increasing. Um, so I don't try to. put that burden over my children. My youngest knows pretty much what's going on. Like he's here right now. Do you want to repeat what you just said? You know, hold on. Yeah, come here. What do you know? What do you know about sickle cell?
Most of the time, mom's in the hospital and she's just laying in bed sick. And, like, I
I
don't
can
get to.
I can
Yeah, speak up.
Most of the time, mom's in the hospital and I can't hang out with her because she's sick most of the time because of sickle cell.
Okay. So yeah, that's his experience. And because I don't know if you heard him, he said most of the time I'm in the bed, sick or in the hospital, and he can't hang out with me. So when I'm not, but when I'm around, when I'm here, and when I'm able to, I think I kind of overcompensate. I try to like do really big things for them when I'm able to, and sometimes I they just want simple things. They just want to chill with me, especially my little one. He wants to just chill out with me and just like sitting on the couch or just like I just want to watch a movie and I'll do something like, oh, I'm around, so let's go to Six Flags, or let's do something extravagant to kind
Yeah.
of I overcompensate in that area, and I just miss the mark, and that's me trying to be like the best parent I could be
yeah, I get that.
in spite of sickle cell. Um, so I'm learning. I'm trying to do better, and not trying to overcompensate so much. And I think when I'm here and when I am sick, I I just try. We just try to relish in the moments of just being with each other.
I feel you on that, Dima. I just let him eat popsicles all day, every day. I don't know. It just feels a little guilty space.
Yeah, I feel guilty. I do feel guilty. Yeah.
Can't hear you,
Mm.
Shabrian.
She must be on delay.
We can't hear you.
Might be on mute.
Yeah. No, I get it. I feel in some way or the other compensate. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
That delay was serious.
That
Yeah.
was it
But I
getting
don't know. It
longer
didn't
and
cut us off.
longer.
We on here through her, and it didn't cut us off. So something.
Yeah,
I think she's gonna come back on, but that delay was kind of
that was
like,
strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dima, I feel you on that. There are things that I try not to let it go too far, and I just want him to have experiences, too, as a kid. But she's back. Can we hear?
all right, how's it
Okay.
sound?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? I just want to
Yeah.
make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
All right, I
still on
had
a
to
little
refresh
delay, but we can
myself
hear you.
sometimes because I start the service way before we actually go live, and sometimes my connection gets kind of caught up in between the in between spaces. Let's just put it like that. So I'm sorry if I cut anybody off. I just want to make sure y'all could hear me. Um, I do want to say uh, I think we all kind of overcompensate in one way or the other. I know for myself as a single parent, there are times when I can't get out of bed and she has things that she can make, that's put in the microwave. And after a couple days, I'm like, okay, I feel terrible that you had to eat microwave food for a couple days. So I'm like, oh, we can eat out. Like, and I don't think she runs out of that's something that I do because I just feel bad when I can't cook because she's so used to me cooking. I don't know. Maybe that's just myself internalizing things, but
I think
that's
we
my
all have
opinion.
that guilt at times, like you said.
Yeah,
Like
I
we
do.
want to
I
make up
do
for
that
the
too.
time that we're down, so we do extra. We go that extra mile because we're down so randomly and sometimes often. So when we're up, it's like, okay, let me make sure I get this done, and we can do this, and we can do that.
Yeah.
I do. I'm guilty.
Let's hear from our men in the room, our father. Um,
Yeah, I'm
what
a little tough.
say you about the questions
Yeah,
that I had?
yeah. I'm a little tough, so I kind of don't like. I can't say that I would
Okay.
compensate. Maybe a little bit, you know. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I'll take a little bit off of her. But yeah, yeah. Some stuff I just want her to understand that like this is her reality at the end of the day. It's nothing that can be done to really like change the situation, I guess. And so I want her to live as normal
Right.
as possible without me trying to like I kind of want to say cripple her, but I don't like. I want her to be prepared for what's real versus do extra stuff and cause like a fake reality for her. Because the fact of the matter is that when I'm gone,
I mean, I
uh,
feel that it's with you
huh?
because your daughter has
Right,
right.
right. But the thing is this, right? So I understand that I am the knowledgeable person, right? So it's a little different too when
No,
you
I say
when you
it's a little different for you because your daughter has sickle. She has the full blown,
right, but it's
illness.
also
So
that's true, but it's also different because of when you're dealing with two households. You see what I'm saying? So that's a huge difference.
Can I ask Master? I'm maybe I'm confused a little bit. Do you and your daughter have sickle cell? Am I correct?
Yeah.
So with her, do you feel like you are more lenient? Are you allow a little difference with her because she has sickle cell? And
Nah.
I'm asked that because like I have two brothers and they don't have sickle cell, but I've always felt like my mom allowed things. She was tough with me, but I think like a lot of things she was extra cautious with me about because I have sickle cell versus the way she was with my brothers.
Nah, if I'm lenient, the only time I'm gonna be lenient is when she actually sick. That's it.
Okay.
When she actually in the crisis. So if it's something that I feel as though she needs to be punished for, right? And like let's say like she did something wrong at school, right? And then and in my head, this is what's gonna happen when she get home. Regardless of what the punishment may be, that's what's gonna happen. But then let's say she going to a crisis or something like on her way home, then I might like postpone. But
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna and in that postponing, right? I might actually just be like, I'm gonna just put it to the side, but I'm gonna still remember it, So I might not get her like right there, but then sometimes it's gonna be a time where it's been sometimes where it's like, as soon as she get out of the hospital, oh no, don't forget what you did, like you thought those 3 days was gonna take it away. Nah, those 3 days just was 3 days. That just, it just it
Prolong.
just yeah, that's it. Like it did nothing else. I'm not the Even though I have a daughter, you know what I mean? Even though I have a daughter, most people take it to be like, oh, fathers be real light on their daughter and all of that. I feel like I'd be kind of okay, but I've had other people tell me I'll be tough. But I'm tough because I know the type of life that she's gonna have to live. So I would rather her have the things that she need to really live. Like if I gotta be tough today for her to understand it 10 years from
Later.
now,
Yeah,
then
I
I'll
get
do that.
that.
Yeah, I don't
So
think anybody lacks. I don't. I mean, we don't lack discipline. That's not what's happening
Yeah.
over here, and we sure don't allow him to skirt just because of his genotype. But what I do is buy us chocolate milks or go puff it to the house so we can drink our little strawberry treat together at the end of the day because he hasn't seen me all day because I've been asleep. I've
so
been
that's
in
so
my
so
bed.
that's what I brought. That's why I brought up too. Like, see, it seemed like both of y'all married, right?
Yes,
Okay, both of us are married.
Yeah, like
I am.
y'all have people in the house. Yeah, I don't. It's 9 times out of 10 it's me and her. When it comes to the mother, it's like she allows certain things that I'm not gonna allow. You see what I'm saying? So over there, it seemed like I'm a mean person over there because they don't
There's a
understand that.
difference. Okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
they don't understand that when I tell her that there's no pork, it's a reason for me saying like when I tell her that I don't want to eat certain things, McDonald's, it's a reason for these things. When I'm saying that she need to drink water the majority of the day, it's because I know that you just called me and said that she's hurting right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because of you think that she took some ibuprofen and now that the pain is just gone, no, I'm trying to get you to understand it's not gone. You just masked it right now. So if you keep letting this kid play, now you're gonna take her once that ibuprofen wear off.
It's
Now
gonna
she
be
went
worse.
from that 2 to 6. But if you just listen to me and keep sitting down and chilling and relaxing, we might not have to get to that 6.
I think your
So
situation is
it's
a lot more different, like a little
Yeah.
bit more complex than ours, because like our children don't like suffer the. I mean, I don't know how to say it. They
Yeah,
don't deal
so
with the
our kids don't have our kids have the trait. So
right,
right.
therefore we try to protect them from our reality.
right.
Whereas your daughter's reality is the
Yeah,
disease.
It's
she
the
can't.
So
disease
therefore
exactly,
you
so
got
it's
to tell
different.
her the truth and tell her what's up for her
Yeah.
life and instill good parenting essentials in her, not just as a parent, not just as a disciplinarian, but you're giving her healthy options. You're telling her how
Because
to be
you
healthy,
know what the
how
road
to
is.
live, not
Right.
to eat McDonald's, not to eat pork because it's going to set off a crisis. These kids can do that.
Right, right. Yeah.
They can
Yeah.
have McDonald's. They can do whatever. It's just I think there's a different dynamic when we see our
Mm-hmm.
kids see us and say, "Oh wow, our mommy's going through this," and I don't know how to relate. Whereas
Hmm.
you two know how to relate.
That
She
So
right
so
there.
sometimes like let's say right. So like let's say it's been the time where I was sick. Now that's the tough part. It's like when you sick and you said you was gonna go to the jump zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Now
now
that's the
that's
tough part.
different.
Now
That's
that's the
the tough
tough
part.
part. You know what I'm saying? That's the tough part right there. It's when you can't go to the jump zone. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes uh and it's okay that she don't, it's okay that she don't understand that I do go. No matter what state I'm like, unless it's like something that I can't barely walk, like that crisis where you wake up and you barely can move. Unless it's that, I still go sometimes anyway, just because.
I've,
And
I've
she
been
just
there
don't
too.
know that she just don't know that I'm messed up. So
Master, how old is your daughter?
12,
Oh, okay. She's 12. My daughter's 12
yeah.
too.
I was gonna say something pertaining. Oh, the so I saw a post someone uh basically was asking people the question of like, do they have to talk about like death and everything with their kid? I don't. No, I just want to prepare. I just want to prepare for when I like. If I could put the stuff in there for when I do go, I feel like I did my job. Like I feel like I'm cool. I don't talk to her about because look, right. The reason why is because I don't want like let's say if I meet either one of y'all, right? If I meet one of y'all and then like or something happened to somebody and if I meet one of y'all or a person without sickle cell. That's what I say. If I meet a person without sickle cell, right, and then I say, hey, I got sickle cell, and then they say, oh yeah, my brother died from that. I'm gonna be upset because I didn't want to hear that, bro. Like I didn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
So I don't have to talk about me passing and then scare her about her passing. If
I
that
Yeah.
feel
makes
you on
sense.
that, Major. I do the
Mhm.
same thing. What I do is I talk about legacy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you, like? I talk about what we're gonna leave, the good things that we're gonna leave behind. Because yeah,
That's
we
cool.
all have to go,
Right.
but it's what we're gonna have as a platform. What can I instill in my kids? What are they gonna leave behind? Or what are they gonna do? What are they gonna leave their children when they leave?
Right.
So that's a good strategy because that fear is gonna jack them up.
Right. Right.
Now, one thing I do, I don't like just like emphasize on dying or anything like that when I talk to my daughter about sickle cell. However, like she does know that they did tell me that I wouldn't make it past 16. So the fact that we are religious, and so it's that, yeah, they said that I wouldn't make it past 16. But look, I'm still here. I've doubled 16. I'm still going. So therefore, God has the final say so. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep praying. We're gonna keep going, living our lives, and we're gonna keep continuing to make memories and just love on each other and do everything that we possibly can while we're here. Because again, like you said, we all have a day. So I don't press the issue of death, but I do allow her to see that, even though the doctor said that, that was the doctor. The doctors are supposed to be right. However, God has the final say so. So
Absolutely.
we use it in that form versus, oh, you might die at this age or you might die at that age. We don't talk about it in that aspect.
So the scripture that I stand on is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans, for it's God that says that He knows the plans that He has for us, and it's to
Right.
build us a hope and a future. It's not what Dr. So and so says.
Exactly.
It's not what sickle cell says. It's God that has the final say at the end of the day.
Yeah, they gave me a number two before. Listen, look, right. So I'm mild on this, right? I'm mild on here. But if these doctors give my daughter, if I hear a doctor tell my daughter like, yeah, like especially if they say that in front of her, that ain't gonna go good at all. That's not gonna go good at all. Yeah, it's not gonna
And
go
I
good.
think like they already have this dilemma like when they come to address us about certain things. So I would feel some type of way. Like back then when I was told that, it wasn't a lot of knowledge about sickle cell. It wasn't a lot of talk about it. It wasn't a big deal. Like now we're being heard, we're getting our voices out there. If my child was told something like that in this era, I would address it too. I would be extremely upset.
Yes.
Don't give my child an expiration date. Like, don't do that. Like, I I don't I believe in the word of God, and I believe that her time will be whenever her time is. Don't do that. Like, I would address them too. So, like back then, I don't think my parents or my grandparents
Right.
would have spoken about it because they're just learning about this. This is new to them. They don't know about the disease, so they're just, you tell them that and they're living in fear at this point. So now if you tell your child something like that, she'll have that in her head because I did growing up. I was like, I dreaded my 16th birthday coming because I felt like, oh, this, they said I wouldn't live past 16. So when I get to 16, it's gonna get bad, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. I had all that in my head
Absolutely.
as a kid. So like I refuse to, in your situation, I wouldn't want my child to hear anything like that either. Because that is a tough thing to live with. Like when I made it to my 30th birthday, I was in the hospital, but I was so excited because it's like y'all said 16. Y'all told me I couldn't have kids. My daughter's 12. she's healthy. Y'all told me I wouldn't be able to walk. So me believing in what they said specifically, it ended a long time ago. So I don't tell my daughter that part of. I mean, I tell her those things because I want her to understand like the severity of things that it's not always what the doctors say. Yeah, they are agreed, they are educated, they are this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, they're human.
And see, even when dealing with the doctors, right? Like let's say appointments, right? That's a whole new entity. Like that's a whole different even conversation because it's like when you the father and you taking the child and it's just you, it's like always, where's the mother coming? And it'd be
Oh,
like, bro, like, like, or it'd be like, sometimes they don't like believe certain stuff. I done had all types of
Yeah.
craziness, like
I'm sure.
craziness, like I had all types of craziness happen, especially dealing with like even insurances. Like I done had to send in court orders over and over and over and over again. The same thing, like y'all ain't have it the first time. Like it's so it's a lot of stereotype. It's a lot of stereotype. Like they be shocked. You know what I mean? They be shocked like that. It's just y'all two.
Good as
And I
y'all.
think it'd be a little bit more shocking that I come with a little girl versus I think it'd be different if it was like a little boy.
That's crazy.
Do y'all so
Shake
on that
really get out again. She's talking to us,
oh sorry.
Yeah.
but she's out. Like she's
So
I don't know what she's trying to say.
one of y'all text her or something? Cause I'll text her.
Um,
Yeah, I'm right in there with you guys. We don't necessarily talk about death. I mean, he's only 8. And he
Mm-hmm.
hasn't lost anyone super close to him yet, but he has been to his fair share of homegoings and funerals. And we make sure that he experiences these things with us, together as a family so that he can understand what death is. Because I'm a realist. I'm a Christian, but I'm also a realist. And so, I am getting my paperwork together. There she is.
And that realist part, like you have to be like I
yeah,
feel
I
like
agree.
I feel like parents should just naturally be it, but it's not always like that. I
No,
really feel like you have to be like a realist in the world today because you will set your kid up for failure. And then they say stuff. People
It's
say
still
stuff like,
loading, so
"Oh,
let
why
me
would you want to?
give it a second.
Why would you want them to know the negative part? What you mean? Why I want to know the
they're
negative
gonna
part? Because
find
the
out
negative part could
regardless
happen.
anyway.
The negative part is possible. It'd be different if it wasn't possible at all. Like I don't feel like it's the negative part. I feel like it's the real part.
Yeah, we still need to write wills. We still need to have
Yeah,
uh
we have to have our paperwork
we
together.
gotta have our stuff together
Yeah.
if something does happen. But we still have to remain hopeful in that. Being hopeful doesn't
Oh,
mean
yeah.
to be stupid.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know.
Yeah, the advanced directives, your living wills, all these things, godparents or who's going to take care of your child if anything should happen, to you, because these are the types of things that could have a real impact in our kids' lives if anything should happen, to us or whether that be sickle cell or not. So it's kind of like, well, I would be doing this anyway because the type of person I am, whether I had sickle cell or not, because I
Right.
just don't believe in leaving your loved ones, especially your own children, unprepared. Life is not fair. And, I live in comparison to a lot of my friends and people that I know. I live a very, plush life. I don't stray from my home very much because my husband and me have created a place where I'm safe and comfortable and they're safe and comfortable. And that's necessary for children that have sickle cell because I'll tell y'all, kids experience stress. And that will bring on a crisis just like that over
Yeah.
and over again. And so once I got my stress level down, I realized that I was much more palatable as a wife and as a mom, if I'm less stressed because I'm not hurting as much and I can do things. And so for him, and my child, I look to see, okay, he might be a little stressed, because I'm putting a lot on him. Every year my husband's like, oh, you another year older? You got another list of benchmarks to hit. You need to be reading this and doing this, and here go your chore list. And don't, you know what I'm saying? So when we raise our kids up, we have to lead by example first, because they're not going to hear anything we say unless we're living it. And that's from a real one. I watched my parents when I was growing up, and if they was hypocritical, I was like, you played yourself. Because now I'm about to go this way when you told me to go that way. Credibility goes down with kids when you ain't living, especially for our kids, because they are Black in America.
I'm going to interrupt. Can you hear me?
We can now.
Can any can anyone hear me? Okay, I'm
We can
sorry.
hear
I
you
just
now.
want to make sure. I don't know why all of a
You have a
sudden it's oh
crazy
no,
delay.
we gonna trip out. But okay, I just wanna I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with. I'm in the same that spot that I sit in every time I for that reason. So shouldn't. So I'm sorry for that. I came back in. I don't have any other options um, at this present moment. I want to move the conversation on a little bit, but I do want to add a little bit to what we were talking about before, and then I'll try to fix it again. I just kind of want to conversation a little bit. So before I go on with the questions, I do want to say myself personally, I think that my lifestyle is a little different because, I had a mother who passed away from complex sickle cell, right? And I have a lot of friends who have sickle, and some of them have passed away. So I have to have those difficult conversations with my child, and she has to know that it's real. The possibility of death is real. I don't we don't about it every day. I don't have her, you dreading it, but literally been to I take her to some of my doctor's appointments because as a single mom, I don't have options most of the time. So I take her with me. And I went to one of my appointments for the first time for pain management, and he literally told me that my medications were killing me, I die, and this, and that. And he's trying to prevent all child. So then, I can't turn away from this conversation with my child when we leave because he created that need for us to have that talk. Because, like you said, doctors are human, and they don't have the last say. They don't have the last word. God has the final. I have to instill that in my child, and I make sure she knows that all the people who are doubting I will live long and this and that, I might outlive them all. Honestly, and one can say for sure that's not a possibility. Yes, I have issues, but I definitely do all that I can, or most of what I can, to prevent anything from happening, regardless. Um, you know, I just wanted to say that, and now I'm going to ask the question, and this is to the kids, and I'm going to ask not to come down, but if Nikita, your daughter, can answer this
I'm calling her back
question
now. She's
first,
coming in.
so that'll give us a chance to kind of fix the connection issues. Um, and for our kids is, what is the most important thing
Could you type the question? Because
that
it's
you
kind of breaking
feel
in and out.
share?
Did anybody get the question? Because I didn't hear it.
No, she went out again.
Maybe she
I
can
think
take.
she texting the question.
Oh, okay.
I sent everyone. Yeah, I saw. I tried to look at the questions,
It wouldn't let
but
me open it.
it wouldn't let me open it.
Yeah, me either.
What?
Maybe she can
Yeah,
screenshot
we
it and
booked
send it
right
to
now.
us.
Oops. Chill out.
Okay, she screenshot the questions. Kids, what is the most important thing for your parents to share with you?
Go ahead.
How it works.
How sickle cell works? Is that your answer? Okay.
Just to want to know how sickle cell. Well, my explanation to her about how sickle cell worked, I just explained to her as far as the cells being, her cells maybe being more circular and ours being sickled, and being that ours are sickled, that it causes us to be in pain. It causes our blood difficulties flowing through, and we begin to have pain because of that. Yeah, I mean, maybe you guys can input on that or how you guys explain that, but that's kind of like how I've explained it to her.
Mm-hmm. Same here. Same for me, Nikita. Like I said, I try to build on the information that I give him since he is just in the third grade. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
my husband is a brainiac. He works in a lab, in a lab coat. And so when he comes home, a lot of times our conversation is very nerdy, and so my son, naturally, he wants to get in the conversation and stuff too. But at the point of where we're talking about gene editing and CRISPR and stuff like that, he'll kind of tune out because it's boring adult talk,
Yeah.
and he's only 8. But as far as the basics, he's got a pretty good understanding.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a good question.
Can you hear us, Shay Brianna? Yeah, I don't know.
This connection is not working for you, Shay Brian.
Yeah, Shay
It
Brian.
is not
Sorry,
happening.
I was muted and I didn't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. She
All right.
You're in
my
sync
daughter
now.
just asked she only
How sickle cell works.
she just asked how sickle cell works. That was one thing she wanted to know from me.
Okay.
Hey, what you think is Hold on, let me read this question to you, kid. Hmm. What you think is the most important thing that I've told you pertaining to sickle cell?
To be proactive.
To be what?
Proactive.
She said to be proactive. Why is she in the hospital?
I would agree with that. I asked Lena Lee. I'm sorry, I might be pronouncing that wrong. And Dima, could they input on how they explain to their children of how sickle cell works? Because that's my explanation was as far as the their blood cells being circular, ours being shaped like sickles, causing the pain, um, causing our blood a hard time to flow through, and it causes pain. But I was asking, is it any other way that you guys explained that to your children?
So my kids are not audio learners. They don't listen to me. Just keep it real. In order for them to learn, oh my goodness, hi cutie.
Say hello.
Oh my goodness. Lena, your son is so dope. He's so cute. Okay. Um, so for order for them for me to educate, I have to use like videos or like the Sickle Cell Association. They have like learning modules.
Mm-hmm.
And I just show them videos kind of explaining that. That's the only way I can get them to kind of understand.
Yeah, some visual, stimulation, something that they can see
Yeah.
and take in, kind of all at once. That makes sense. I just asked this little person, Jackson, if he under sickle cell works, how mama sickle cell works. He said no. And I said, mama's red blood cells are shaped like bananas when they should be shaped like donuts. And then he said, bananas.
Okay.
Um,
He was not listening to me, Mr. Dima.
Right. So when I asked my son the same question, he's just trying to figure out how I'm still around after um, a open heart surgery. He's like beyond that. Like,
He's
okay,
blown away.
he's blown away that I'm still around. They opened me up
Yeah.
and took out a clot, and then showed me back up, and I'm still alive. So he's just trying to get with that dynamic of the miracle of medicine.
Same.
Can you all hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this
Still breaking up.
thing on?
It just won't let you be great tonight.
Well, Elle just wrote in a
Not great
comment
at
that she
all.
wrote books for kids to learn about sickle cell. And Elle's books are amazing. I think I'm going to actually buy them
Is
for my
that the super sale?
I I don't know. She has a coloring book coming out. So I recommend Elle's books to explain to our kids about sickle cell. Thank you, Elle, for
I
adding that comment.
I just told my daughter basically it's like a car like traffic, backed up traffic. Like you have your regular cells and they flow through, and then the bad cell come, car crash happen, and they just pile up on top of each other, and wherever they pile up at, that's where your pain is at. That's what I explain. That's how I explain.
That's not a bad explanation.
Stop.
Just a couple more.
Maybe she texting.
Uh-oh, she froze again.
Do she? Maybe she should just share. Just write.
I was gonna say, I think it looks like she sent. I saw the list. Did you have the list too, Dima?
Yeah, I have this.
So
Next question.
Oh
let's
man, the
see.
next one is, do you feel your life would be different if your parent was healthy?
Hmm.
Did you hear the question?
Um, yes, because some things she can do and some things she can't do. So, like, say if we wanted to race, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't be able to race. She'll probably get like too hot, especially since being outside and sun.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to race either. Sorry.
Imani, will you come here?
I just
Do
But
asked
you
my son
think
the same question.
Yeah, I want to know
what you
what they
say?
say.
So he said that before I took Oxbryta, so in the past, he felt like that question was relevant. But now that I'm more active, he doesn't feel that way.
Hmm. Um, do you think your life would be different if I was healthy, didn't have sickle cell? Yeah.
I missed that one. What was the answer?
She said her life would be different because she wouldn't have it. I can't hear y'all now. It's crazy.
Is it on mute?
It's back on.
The things that I don't even be thinking about until out of the mouths
Why
of
can't I do it?
babes.
Yeah.
It did. It's crazy.
That one has a follow-up question. What do you feel would be different about your life? I mean, I guess that was it. That was the answer to that question as well. So, Nikita, what's your name, sweetie? I'm sorry.
Amari.
Yes, what's your answer?
Mm.
Mm.
Can you repeat the question?
It was a follow-up to the last one, which was, do you feel like your life would be different if your parent was healthy? What do you feel would be different about your life? How would it be different? I know the racing, right?
There we go.
You could possibly race.
Um, Probably like everything in general. Like, because last year I was virtual mainly because my mama has sickle cell. So if I were to get corona or COVID, um, then it would affect
Did
her
you
a
put
lot more than
blood
it would
bleach?
affect me, especially since we live in the same house and I have to be
Yes.
with my mom
No.
at all times. If we're not together, then I'll make sure I know where she is at.
That was a good answer. What's your
So
answer?
thoughtful.
My
Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry. Just
We
for a
can hear you.
second.
We can hear you now.
Okay, I had to switch devices. All right.
Okay.
Sorry.
Michael has his answer. What's your answer? Speak up loud, loud.
my answer would be hang out more with my mom a few years ago and spend more time with her more often.
Okay. And I would cook more often.
Mm.
Yeah.
And she wanted
You ready to answer? Would your
I don't know
life
if you heard him because he's real mute.
Yes, then we'd be
you
able
can't talk to them to the pillows. Are the pillows listening or are they listening?
yes,
The
guys.
camera, my love.
Yes, because
Guess what? Would your life be different?
it would be different because then you'd be able to put things the way that you like it, and we'd be able to take more walks. And then you'd have to go to a hospital. That's why I'm here to cure sickle cell.
Okay.
Yes, girl.
Mhm.
Do it.
All right then. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. All right. I know I've been
Been
MIA
MIA
from this
from this
conversation.
conversation.
So
So,
you guys
you
have the
guys have the
questions now,
questions
right?
now, right?
Am I the
Am
only
I the
one
only
hearing
one
the
here
feedback?
I hear it too.
We can hear you.
We can hear.
Oh,
So do you
So
hear
do
the
you hear
feedback?
feedback?
Oh yeah, I heard it that time. Some feedback.
all
I think
right.
it's better. It's better.
Yeah. Okay, great. So let's move right along. Is there another question for the kids? I'm sorry, I had to switch devices, so I'm off right now. If anybody wants to ask the next
So
question.
the next question is: do you think your
I
parent
don't
does their
understand.
best
You
to
don't.
stay healthy as possible?
Ooh,
My son says yes.
Do you
okay.
think I do my best to stay healthy?
Yes.
I do my best to stay as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
Gotta come on the camera, girl.
Yes.
Yes, I try.
Definitely try.
Yeah. Sickle cell has other plans sometimes, but
We can't
I'll
always
be back in
control
trying.
it. That's
Right.
Jackson says yes as well, especially when I do my best to drink all my water and take my meds.
Awesome. I feel like we have really bright kids. Like, is it
We
just,
do.
are like our kids just like extraordinary, like
Yeah.
amazing?
there.
I'm
I think they learn more compassion, especially because what we deal with is so difficult. Like it's like from the emotional side, the pain side, the mental side, the physical side. So we have to like instill little things in them. So I think that kind of helps a lot.
Yeah. They grow up quick because ain't
Extreme.
no time for dilly dallying when mama is dying and screaming and thrashing and wondering why y'all ain't moving faster.
facts.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, um, people be like, why am I teaching the kid like certain things already? Like I be having, like when I had books for like finances and stuff, like 2 years ago, and it's like, yeah, they not learning it in school, but you'll hear people saying like, oh, you like that's the type of stuff that people feel like is too hard. But for one, I feel like white people teaching their kids that already. Like white people teaching their kids that stuff when they, 9, 10 years old. So, but on top of that, you just never know what might happen. You know what
The
I'm
fact that
saying?
it's not taught in school, we have to do our part to teach them the extras. Like it's a lot of things I wish I was taught at a younger age, and I probably would have done, better. So of course I want to put that into her because she has to carry that on. Like,
Hmm. Okay. There's another question for the kids, which is there anything about sickle cell you don't understand that you would like to know here today? While you have a whole panel of parents with this illness, so you know, you're not just getting your parents' answer, but you have
you
multiple
have any
people here
questions
to
Mommy, do you mind
explain.
if
about the
I
sickle
talk
about just period about sickle
to
cell?
sickle cell?
Did you understand the question that I just asked
Yeah,
you? What's the question?
I forgot.
I said, is there anything about sickle cell you don't understand that you want to know from any of us here today? Anything, any question. No question is too big or too small. You sure?
My son's question was, why do you take so many vitamins?
Oh,
you should take vitamins with or without sickle cell just to keep
Right.
your system healthy and strong and your immune system up. You should take them even without sickle cell.
Especially when you get older, things don't work the way they once worked when you were like 9 or 10.
That
You have to worry about it,
and then not to
probiotics.
mention COVID. COVID right now, you need your immune system strong, especially going to school.
Awesome. Yep. Any other questions?
Did you have any? Okay.
So when y'all take y'all's medicine, like how it has different side effects, like whenever y'all are testing a new medicine, do y'all do that? Like the side effects, like
Do we
I,
test them?
like like I don't know how to explain.
How do we deal with the side effects, or do we know about the side
Is that
effects before we take
Like
the
what
medication?
are
what are the different side effects?
it varies from different people. Like you can have nausea, you can have fatigue, or it could you can gain weight. Sometimes you can lose weight. It just
And it depends on what medicine you're taking too.
yeah,
You
it's
get like if
different.
you would
Yeah.
specify a medication, then we could say, "Oh, that worked for us like this or like that."
And
Do you
and
have
I
any
just want
medicine
to.
in particular that you think about?
Any medicine that you know.
I don't even know the first medicine y'all take.
Well, I want to say this. Most of the majority of us are on pain meds, and I will say that they do cause mood swings. So sometimes, it ain't it ain't y'all.
I Can
It's
you
like,
repeat that? I want my husband to hear that. And
okay,
he,
so I was saying that pain medication causes mood
Mhm.
swings,
uh-huh.
irritability,
Yep.
aggravation.
Uh-huh.
So when we're on medication, we may be different than
Yeah.
when we're not. And it's not, and I always say, don't take my sickle cell personally, or anything that I have to, the reaction to what I have to take because of it. So
That part.
yeah, so it's not them, it's not the person, it's not you, it's just, you got to be a little bit more patient with us when we on these pills sometimes.
Hey, I want to show you guys something.
You've already shown it, we're live. Okay.
I want to show the live people.
Girl, they gonna hit the replay. They gonna hit the replay, girl. What is this? Doc McStuffins? Oh, that's nice. I like her.
All right, now you done did it. Okay, let's see if there are any more questions for the kids. Let me make sure. uh Before we move on to COVID questions, I do want to ask this of the parents. Sorry, I lost it. Where did it go? Oh, do you feel, and I feel like this can be asked to both the parents and the kids. Do you feel like um your child should be in therapy because of the emotional trauma that can sometimes happen because of dealing with our illness? Because it doesn't just affect us, it affects them as well.
Um, I do. I feel like and with us, um, yes, because COVID it came in, it kind of changed everything drastically, and it's been going on. This is something completely different to our lives. Like a lot of the times I think that adults figure like, oh, they're stressed out because we got to make sure you're healthy. We got to do testing. We got to make sure these vaccines, we got to see if it's appropriate for us to take all of that. But we tend to forget that the kids are dealing with that too. Like my daughter said earlier, she did virtual school all year long. And then she began to struggle a little bit in school because when they did go back into school, um it was like the kids that were virtual were put on the back burner versus they weren't getting the same attention as the kids that went back to school, and that was an effect of me being high risk, her, us just not wanting to take those chances. And so then, of course, she feels down on herself because she's not doing what she's accustomed to doing in school. She's not doing as well as she normally is. And she's not understanding it. Like, then this was her first year in middle school. So it was just a lot. Not to mention, the I did get sick. I was hospitalized what 3 times since COVID has started, and there's no visitors. There was nobody could come, just being there. And so she had to a lot on her plate as a child to deal with. Not to mention they don't get to see their friends. They don't get to go and do half of the things that we normally do. So like everything was shut off. So we a lot of times tend to think about ourselves and not realize that they have feelings too, and it affects them too. It may not affect them the same as us, but they are affected. So I think it is important if they don't feel comfortable talking to the parent, maybe somebody. I don't feel anything's wrong with therapy.
Okay.
I feel like every person or every family that has someone with sickle cell in that family, in that nucleus, needs to have therapy.
Yeah.
Period. Um, some type of family or group counseling, and that's something I didn't do with um, my. Now he's 18. It's too far gone. I should have. That's something I should have done when he was smaller. Because there's certain things that he wasn't able to connect with. Um, he understood what was happening, but he wasn't able to communicate his feelings about what was going on. Um, and I'm noticing a pattern um, with my younger one now, and I feel like it's imperative that we introduce some type of family therapy into this mix.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone else want to add anything before I add my 2 cents?
I will. I feel like the therapy is for anyone that needs it, right? I love that little graphic that I've seen online in a few places where there's a little cartoon person sitting in a chair, and the thought bubble is just a bunch of scribbles in a bunch of different colors. And then the other person, the therapist, in their thought bubble, they are taking the red yarn and wrapping it up nice and neat, and then they're taking the blue yarn and wrapping it up nice and neat. It's just helping you to untangle the madness within so that you can learn how to cope with the extensive circumstances of living with a chronic illness or living with someone that has a chronic illness, right? So I've been in therapy my whole life since I was a young adult, and I've been in, on and off since then, different therapists, different providers over the years, but still people that have their that have that certification to know what to listen for. Um, Having a chronic illness, especially cell or trait, it can really cause you to have severe anxiety, depression, PTSD, things of that nature. And I have suffered from all of those simply because of my illness. I'm not going to let any of that take me down, sickle cell or anything that comes because of it. And so I get it, I go to therapy and I try to act like my child's therapist, right? I want him to know that I, first and foremost, as his mother, care about his mental health. And so we discuss his feelings, we discuss his points of view. We don't just say, get in the car, shut up, and be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Because when we was coming up, it was different. Kids didn't have opinions, and you know, it wasn't like that at all. That's not healthy, but I've been able to keep myself sane. It's not always been easy, but I've been able to keep a reasonable portion of sanity for myself by being proactive and always having a therapist on deck.
Mm.
It's just a smart thing to do. You don't get to, I mean, I'm a woman, I'm Black, and I have a chronic illness. Of course, I'm in therapy.
Yeah. Um, I think we skipped past one question. I don't know if you guys might have covered it while I was trying to get it together, but it reminded me of this question. What I'm sorry. It is so I don't know that I put it in here. I'm sorry. I might have meant to. But the question really is, or what I want to touch upon is, with my daughter personally, she would have really bad nightmares and separation anxiety, and she still doesn't like sleeping away from me, especially when I'm sick. She doesn't like to sleep in her room. She likes to sleep in my room, and it'll be like I don't know. Master, I was talking to Master and a few other people. I wasn't feeling well because I got the COVID shot, and I woke up at 3 in the morning, and she was asleep in my closet, which was scary. But like, it was like, what are you doing? But I guess because I told her, like, hey, go to your room. I'm fine. But I guess she worried, so she kind of snuck in the closet and probably tried to wait for me to fall back to sleep and fell asleep in the closet. I don't know how it happened, but that lets me know that throughout the years she does have emotional issues because of my illness, and I do have very honest conversations with Nyla about my illness, and I ask her, like, what scares you. Like, I want her to talk about these things, and she tells me, she's very honest, like, I'm afraid that you'll go to the hospital, you won't come back, I'm afraid that you'll die, and I'm still going to be young, and I love you and I want you to raise me. I don't want anyone else to raise me. So that's a fear of hers, and I try to talk to her about it, and we pray about it, and I do, you know, I think I dropped the ball a little bit because she was in therapy for a while, but she hasn't been, and especially during COVID, like once the pandemic happened, and she once had that outlet, like, she could go to school and she could be a kid and she didn't have to think about it. And then everything shut down. And it's just like, it was hard for me after a while. And I was, ill and trying to balance working from home. And then I had a job out of the home. I was a chef. And then I had, dealing with her in school. And it was a lot. And so it became a lot on both of us emotionally, and so she really started acting out because Nyla is very bright, she's very advanced. So in school, doing distance learning, when the teacher tells them, oh, this is the work, and she breaks out the packet, she'll just do it, and then she's done, and then the teacher's like, well, what are you doing? Because she's all over the place because she's finished and she's bored. And I told her the other day the only name I heard more than hers was this other little girl's. And she was like, it wasn't all the time. I'm like, it was. And it was to the point where even like the counselor called and was like, hey, Nyla's usually very, because her teacher wasn't used to, like, she thought Nyla was just kind of goofing off when she wasn't doing her work, when really Nyla had finished the work and she was bored. So it was like she contacted the counselor, and I'm like, oh no, she's doing her work. It's just she's done, and and so that's what the counselor was concerned, because she was like, yeah, because I know before the pandemic happened, Nyla was advanced. Her teacher was singing her praises. Her teacher was, everyone was so proud of all the things that Nyla could do, even at her age. So it kind of it kind of let it left something to for myself that I felt, I had to make the decision to send her back to school regardless of, oh, you know, I would I rather her be home and be safe? Yes, but I can't because she doesn't do well from home because she's a people person and she's already advanced, so it's her being at home is not helpful for either one of our mental health. So I made that decision like, okay, I'm gonna have to just be very careful. She's on like three different vitamins, and she got sick like the second week of school. But it wasn't COVID. It was like strep throat or something, and I within 2 days it was out of there because I'm not playing any games. And as a single mother, it sucks because I don't have a lot of help. So I can't afford to get sick. So we know this. So that's how we live our lives with that. Okay, I'm not feeling well. All right, let's get to it. Let's handle it here before it gets anywhere else. And that again creates the anxiety of like, okay, it has to be taken care of before it gets too bad. So I know I just had an earful, but I think this is the perfect time to kind of segue into just talking about COVID for a little while before we end. We lost Master. Um, let's see. What is the question? Let me. Um.
Oh, you have a puppy too?
Say hello.
Oh my goodness, what's your puppy's name?
Apollo. It's Apollo.
Hi, Apollo.
Say hi.
Is it
Okay.
Morky Poo?
Here's a great question, and we're gonna just ask a couple of these, and that's it. I don't want to keep you guys too long. So, how did you handle COVID when it first started, like the COVID and the pandemic, with your children when it first started versus now? And I kind of already answered that, so I don't need to.
She said she gonna answer.
So, is it okay if I answer?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so when COVID first started, we were like buying Lysol wipes, like wiping down the whole entire house every time somebody came in and out the house, wiping down groceries, like basically turning the house into a sanitizing station. Like we had like multiple closets, multiple cabinets full of cleaning supplies, like disinfecting stuff. And we were like, my mom literally did not leave the house at all. Like if we needed groceries, she would order them online. And the only time somebody would go out the house if they had work.
Hmm.
So we didn't go to the stores. We just stayed in the house. We didn't even play outside for a couple of weeks until, because we thought it was like if you go outside, we're gonna catch it. Like
Airborne.
yeah, like if you walk outside, I'm gonna catch it. That's what I thought at first. But yeah, so we just basically turned the house into a sanitizing station whenever it first started.
Okay, what about versus now? How do you feel like is it different or is it still the same or?
Well, when we come in, we'll like take a bath, or we won't get in the bed until we like take a bath or something. But it's not really that. We still have Lysol and stuff like cabinets full of it, but we don't like we don't like. My mom goes out now, but doesn't go out that much. Like if she doesn't need to go out, then she won't go out, or I won't let her, or I'll have to know where she's at all times.
Oh, it is that type of life. I feel
Like
you.
she was at my dad's party the other day. What did I call you then? And I was like calling her and making sure where she was at because
I be on a curfew. I have a time limit to be out, and I have to be back in, or she is calling, texting, or whatever. Are you safe? Are you safe? This is what I get across my phone. I'm like, yes, I'm safe. Don't worry.
That's real love.
Yeah, it is. My
She is
daughter's the
like to
same way.
my hip.
I'm sorry, ladies. I might have to cut my time short. I'm having some technical
Okay.
difficulties over
Yeah,
here with my
definitely.
body, as you know. So thank you so much for having me. Um, I really appreciate this conversation. I love meeting your children. They're all great. Love meeting your puppy, Lena.
Oh,
And we'll talk soon. So thank you so much.
Feel better, Dima.
All right, take
yes,
care.
feel better.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Oh, you said bye.
Bye bye,
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
handsome.
Thank you. All right. Anyone? Well, Lena, do you want to answer the question?
We were talking about the beginning of COVID
Versus now, you know.
versus now. Yeah, y'all know when it first got going, I just felt sick to my stomach because I'm an empath, y'all. That means I can feel everybody's emotions, everybody's ups and downs. I can feel when it's about to be a wave of, grief or whatever. And I knew that this ride was going to be a wild one. I could just really feel it because Americans are self-focused
Yeah.
and we don't like being told what to do. Well, some of us, if some of us would just comply and wear the mask. Anyway, not gonna go there. But when it got started popping off, I was living my dream. At least I thought I was. I was working. I'm not only am I a former chef, but I'm also a former bridal stylist. Okay. So at the time I was working at a bridal shop, a bridal salon here where I had been for a year. I was not full time. I could never work full time, you guys. I tried and my body is like, girl, no, go sit down. So I listen to it and when I need to go to work, when my husband and I are like, okay, you can go to work, I guess a little bit, but not too much. Then I get up and I go to work. And so I was working part time and I had made the year mark. And I was so excited about that because it had been a long time since I was physically able to work.
Mm-hmm.
And being a bridal stylist is just as physically taxing almost as being a chef. The only difference is it's 2,000 degrees in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
At least, on the floor, you're not under direct heat. So I didn't feel safe at my job when it was apparent and obvious that it was time to wear masks. I was the only chocolate Barbie there, and they was all on that mess,
Yeah.
like not trying to adhere, not trying to comply, not trying to protect themselves and other people. And I looked around and I was like, I don't have this luxury. Y'all can roll the dice with y'all health if y'all want to. Lena don't do that. I don't have that option to just be out here playing politics with my body. Nah. So I had to let my job go. And that was unexpected. It was a loss I had to grieve. This is a second career. I had to say, can't do that, no more. In some way related to my sickle cell. So when COVID hit, it really it put me back up in my little Rapunzel tower. Now I'm back in my tower again, back up in my sick bed or back up on the couch tent, as my husband calls it. Y'all know when he come home and I'm on the couch like this, the medicine and the water and the heating pads, and that's the couch tent, And so I just was like, and I had my mask on and I was trying to do my job, but I'm not going to be standing next to Susie and she up here spewing her coronavirus, breath in my face, trying to act like her privilege is more important than my life.
Come on now.
No one has time for that. So I haven't been back. I mean, I think I probably still could go back. If I said, "Hey, Gretchen, can I come work today?" She would be like, "Yeah," you know. But I don't feel that that's an option for me. And not only that, like my life has changed drastically in the last 5 months, like I said earlier. And so I just don't see me working for her or somebody else like her again in the future. I don't see that for myself.
All right. I feel you. Yeah, when
I mean, I'm just, I'm being goofy, but y'all get what I'm trying to
no,
say.
no, I
Yeah.
totally get you. Because when I was working in the restaurant, we had two sides, and this lady came in, and first of all, okay, you wanted to wait for your food, and we have like chips and stuff there, so she was eating chips. Okay, that's fine. But the whole restaurant, and that's what I loved about where I worked, they weren't caring about what nobody was saying. We was probably one of the last restaurants to open our dining room back up. We were like extra safe. I worked in the kitchen, and I didn't have to, most of the time I was not required to interact with customers like the rest of my my coworkers were. And so um the little interaction that I would, because there would be some people that wanted to speak to me, oh, the food is great, okay, great. But then there was times when we were kind of short staffed and I had to help out, and this just happened to be one of those days. And she was one of those people with the privilege. And so she's eating her chips, but she's like all the way in the front where we are, where you don't necessarily have to be. And like I'm asking her what she wanted me to put, and you can so part of the restaurant is poke, and the rest is like the food that you cook. There's actual like a food grill restaurant that's where I worked. And so I would ask people like, hey, pick what you want from up in the front, and opposed to her like just pointing like a normal person, hey, I want this, this, and that. She's over the glass like, I'm like, you can't be doing that, man. Like, what we doing here? And
Uh-uh.
she's like, oh, I don't believe in that stuff. I got so many people coming for Thanksgiving. This was around Thanksgiving. I have so many people coming. And I'm just looking at her and I'm like, oh, I was like, it must be nice. She was
Is she
just
still
like,
is she still with us?
I don't know.
Oh,
That
this
ain't
was
my
a
business.
customer. You don't
It
know.
was a
Child, well, we
customer,
gon' we
and
gonna hope. We gonna hope, right?
look,
Because this has been sickening. Watching this much death has been
yeah,
sickening. Like
definitely.
America is just we need a healing, okay? We need a
Yeah,
kumbaya, okay, of the spirit because
mhm,
it is not okay what's happening right now, right? It's like
yes,
your privilege ends where my life begins.
I think
I'm
that's a battle for us because we have so much like when people look at it, it's just like you say, it's a privilege. Y'all don't get the black hand of my health is on the line and my outcome may be different than your outcome. So no, you don't want to wear a mask, but at least think about somebody else that I mean, I'm sure you got somebody in your family that might have some sort of health issue, whether it not be sickle cell. You
hmm,
have something going on in your family. Be
yeah,
considerate because at this point, it's not even necessarily the ones a lot of people who have pre-existing conditions that are dying. A lot of people that don't have pre-existing conditions are ending up. I've seen young, I've seen old, I've seen middle age that have lost their fight because of this disease, because of this virus, and you still complaining about wearing a mask. It's just a piece of cloth. Like
yeah,
what
and
you
I
think
that's
is
yeah.
is what? It's ugly. Okay.
let's
different
reward.
design.
There's reward. We don't
You know
like it.
what's more important?
And the thing I think I can say for everyone who has dealt with sickle cell for the most part, um, we know how to not get sick. Like we're germaphobes by nature. I think I'm a
Right.
little bit more germophobic than most. So so that's a thing in my household. Like you said, with the Lysol and everything and the disinfectant, that was my life before COVID. So imagine
Exactly.
how
That's
it
one
kind
thing
of
I
was
always
like,
say.
okay, we up
Yeah,
here
because we
with
used
it.
to wear a mask
Like
before
people,
COVID.
people, you complain about Lysol and hand sanitizer. That to me made me feel like you weren't doing that in the beginning, and that's a problem.
because they
Right?
weren't.
No,
Because
That's a
they weren't.
problem. You need to be
Yeah,
washing your hands.
they
You
but
weren't.
should be.
And they don't. Still.
they ran out and got that tissue though. They
Oh
went,
yeah.
and I
Yeah.
didn't understand it because this is my thing. This is my plight on the tissue. Okay, I don't get how someone or people can think that where are you going with the tissue if all goes to hell? Because the water's not going to work to flush the toilet. So where you going to put the tissue at? I mean,
They're
that was
not
my
thinking.
whole argument
They're
with
not
it.
thinking. Yeah, the people that rush to buy up stuff and hoard things that they aren't really going to need, those types of people are the same types of people that don't wash their hands, the same people that don't thank anyone before they eat their food. They don't say grace because ain't nobody up here.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's not about the mask. It's not about it being a piece of cloth. When
Mm.
when this came and it was evident that we need to band together so we can save ourselves, the people that rebelled against that are the people that value their privilege more than people's lives. It's just that simple. They care more about being able to say, I don't want to do that. Right. And then they're the same people that say, well, if you would just comply. So why do I have to comply? But you don't want to just wear a mask that's actually helping us fight a plague. When it don't make sense, it don't make sense.
Yeah,
And we have
exactly.
to stop trying to rationalize the crazies that have been riled up in this country because that's a waste of time. We do what we know is best, which is wash our hands, okay? Sanitize, like we've been doing this whole time. Sanitize, okay? Clean our homes, be safe, wear the mask, okay? Whatever type, okay? We have to do these things to protect one another. See, we're the type of people that are we're communal. We like to lock arms and be a village.
Mhm.
I'm so grateful for that part of it because honestly, my speaking on the children, like I have two nieces and a nephew, and my niece and my nephew, they both have the trait, but one of my nieces, she doesn't. So they know that I see my nieces daily. Like I have to talk to them every day. I see them, every day. Like we literally live like 5 lights apart from each other. Like we're steady in each other's lives. So my sister-in-law gave my nieces and nephews like the option, like to go to school. But if you go to school, we're not going to be able to go and see your auntie because of me being high risk. Like at this point, we weren't letting any visitors come to our house. We weren't doing all that. Only them, like, because we basically lived the same lives. Like they're not going to put me in danger. They're not going to put me in harm's way. They're going to try to protect me. And my nieces and nephews are kids. One, they're 10, 8, and 4. And
No. 11,
oh,
9,
11,
and
9,
4.
and 4. And they made the decision to they didn't want to go to school in person because they wanted to be able to see me. And as a it for she let them make that decision. And that was a decision that they made on their own. So if kids at that age can have that kind of compassion and say, "Hey, I know that I have to see my auntie. I want to see auntie." Like, so I'll take school virtually. Like that was to me. I mean, if kids can make that decision, adults can make those decisions. So it's not necessarily about yourself and your preferences. Yeah, they know they want to see their friends. Yeah, they want to go to school. They're accustomed to. It's easier for them going to school in person than it is virtually. But if kids can make that decision to be compassionate and be there and be supportive and understand it, adults can too. You just pick and choose.
Yeah.
And to me it gives me the impression that other people's lives don't matter to you. Like,
Yeah.
it's all about yourself. It's like it's all about you. And that's another reason why we are struggling to get past this. If you look at other places, their numbers are way better than ours because they do what they're supposed to do. But because we're in America and everybody has their own perception of freedom and what it is to be free. Oh, if I wear a mask, you're taking my freedom away. No, we're not. We're just trying to get together and get this virus up out of here. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do what's best for everybody as a whole. But
Yes.
they just missed that memo. Like, I mean, it's crazy. Like, but we
But
had to make some choices. Even this year, like I was like, because my daughter, I began to see a difference in her because of COVID. I was like, no, like we're gonna have to do whatever it takes. Like, you're gonna have to wear your mask. I'm gonna send you to school with everything you need.
yeah.
I'll buy extra Lysol for your school. I'll buy wipes. I'll buy sanitizer. I'll buy whatever it is for your school. But I had to make a sacrifice and say, hey, well, you're going to go back to school this year regardless, because I don't want you to be behind because of this. But like, so now she's back in school, and
And
we're
I
just
don't eat
doing,
at school.
yeah, she won't even eat lunch at school because she doesn't want to take her mask off.
I wish you could talk to my daughter because I would make her lunches, and I ain't talking about like just the bootleg, whatever. She gets Rice Krispies, fruit cups, fruit roll-ups, fruit snacks,
I'll take
all
a
sort of
snack, but I
everything. The
won't
only thing
eat.
I don't buy is Lunchables because I just don't believe in buying Lunchables. But she'd rather eat school lunch, and I'm like, how, Sway? Like
How old is she?
She paid school lunch.
she's
School lunch
7.
is disgusting. All they give us is pizza, chicken tenders, mashed potatoes, and burgers.
Right, and my
Yeah.
daughter's like, "Oh, I can't miss pizza today." I'm like, "The same pizza that's up in the freezer
They
right
give us
now."
pizza, mashed potatoes, hot dogs, burgers, and they give us that every day. They don't like they just give us the same thing every day.
Yeah. Most of the schools definitely do have that same schedule of, food. It was the same way with us. It was Friday was pizza day, you know, but every school is a little bit different. But you guys know why kids like school lunch is because little kids, because you're born with all of the taste buds that you're ever going to have. And
Yeah,
over time, they diminish due to certain things like heat, smoking, alcohol, injury. And so young children actually prefer those bland foods like at the lunch counter. They prefer that, the plain hamburger, just the mac and cheese, just the fries, just you know, they prefer that because their palates are super, sensitive. And that's why we should not give kids super sweets, like for sure, especially our kids, because their teeth are prone to a little bit more, care, and stuff like that. But for sure, when it comes to getting older, yeah, school lunch does not taste good anymore once you get to, a certain age, because your taste buds are developing for more complex flavors.
but I get that. I get what you're saying. But my child is literally like, her favorite food is seafood. Okay, lobster, shrimp, like
Yes.
the whole seafood boil. Like
Yes.
she's so sedity. Like I get nervous every time somebody's like, "Oh, I'll treat y'all out," and I'm like, "You don't know what you're asking for, because she ain't about to go and ask for no burger or no nuggets."
No.
finna be like, okay, where's the lobster, the steak? And I'm like,
This was us a couple of weeks ago.
so I get what you're saying, and I'm like, and I cook very well. I love
Mhm.
cooking. Well, I'm gonna say I like to cook. There are things I love more than cooking, because there are times I'm like, but I she has like she's lucky.
She's
She's a lucky.
sophisticated.
Yeah, her taste buds is up. I mean, come on now. What black mama making arroz con pollo on a Wednesday or a Tuesday night just cuz? Like, what? So okay, I'm sorry. We have a question, and it seems as though she would like us to answer it right now. She keeps asking, and I appreciate you asking. We're not ignoring you. We just kind of trying to with the flow of the conversation. So don't feel as though we're not. That's why I put your question up. Don't feel like we're not going to answer it, because we are. That was actually one of the questions as well. That's one of our last questions, which is, how do how do we feel about vaccines? Have we taken it? Do we plan to take it? You know.
Well, I'll answer the question that she asked. Me and my daughter, we just recently took the first one.
Hmm.
We're coming up on our second shot now, and we took Pfizer, the Pfizer shot. Me having sickle cell, I was extremely nervous about taking the shot, and I actually was not going to go through with it just yet. I was going to allow her to get it because she was going back to school, and just to give her a little bit of comfort. Um, I took Pfizer. I did the first dose. I did not have any complications, thankfully. I've been told that the second one could be harder than the first one, so I'm not sure yet. I can update when I do get it. I will be getting it on Saturday.
Tomorrow?
No, not this Saturday. Next Saturday we'll be getting. Yeah, but we did take Pfizer. It did give me a little numbness in my arm, a little soreness in my arm like that next day. But
Hmm.
other than that, I had no side effects. I had no differences in it. I I did way better than I anticipated, because when I take the flu shot, I get extremely sick every time I take the flu shot. It sends me over into crisis. So I was so scared that this shot was going to do the same thing, and it didn't. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, that was my experience with it.
Okay. Would you like to
Yeah.
answer?
Sure. Yeah, I definitely, like I said, as soon as the pandemic got popping off, I was asking my husband, like, are you hearing anything on Reddit or anything out there in the science world about when they gonna get these vaccines popping? Because y'all don't have the luxury of, just being out here unprotected. Pandemics do not happen all the time. And
Mm.
this one being politicized in this country the way that it was absolutely unnecessary. Okay. And bizarro. Okay. When a pandemic happens, you got to get your vaccine because the only other option is getting sick and possibly dying. And so we see how many people have lost their lives to this and how many of them it was unnecessary. That's not a legacy. That's hurtful to your family and friends when you pass away because you just was like, oh, I'll think about it. I don't know. It was too quick. They rolled it out too quick. How do y'all know? Do y'all work in a lab? This is what I want to be asking the people online. Do y'all work in these? Do y'all work at Pfizer? How y'all know how long it's supposed to take? That
Right.
is so annoying to me. Everybody online knows everything all of a sudden. Okay? All right? No. I got my vaccine as soon as they said it's available to you, my sickle sister. I said, okay, thank you. Give it to me. Okay? Because these are not regular times. These are not regular times.
I don't think I was opposed to it because of that. Like I said, the flu shot does me horrible.
Oh yeah.
That was my fear. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to the shot itself, but I just didn't want. And then at this particular time, like we're speaking on our kids, Like my child's at home on virtual school. She's struggling with that. She's dealing with that. You know, honestly, with my family, we lost my grandmother recently, not long, right before COVID started. So it was just like for me, like I didn't want to take the chance, get the shot, end up in the hospital, be away from my child, be at the hospital by myself alone. Like nobody's able to come see you. You're not able to get the things that you need while you're there. I've been to the hospital 3 times since COVID has started. And like the first 2 times, you could have no visitors. Like I literally was having to have my parents and my family, my husband, drop off things at the front door for me. My nurse would come down and pick it up and then bring it back up to me. Like, no, you know, I was FaceTiming with them, but it's nothing, it's not the same.
Yeah.
My dad works in a medical center. He's a chef. He when I'm in the hospital, I usually see my dad daily. Like he comes over, he brings me food, he'll bring whatever I might need or whatever. I couldn't see any of my family. Like so for me, it was like if I get the shot and it sends me into the hospital, then I don't know how long I'm gonna be there. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Like literally, the flu shot does me that bad every year. So that was my fear. It's like, okay, the side effects, or how is it gonna
Yeah.
affect me, and will I be away from my family? And then not knowing what was going on with COVID and everything like that, it was like, okay, do I really want to be away from it? My family and not be able to be there with my child during times like this. So it was like that was my concern. Not that oh it's a shot, it's dangerous, or I don't know what's in that shot. Like I wasn't necessarily thinking that
I'm
way.
talking about them other folks, honey. I'm talking about them
I
people that just make stuff up because they just don't want to go and do the thing that they know they're supposed to do. Of course, we have to think about every aspect. You know what
Yeah.
I'm that's what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing. We don't have the luxury of just rolling the dice. We have to think
Right.
about every
Yeah, and
move
that's
that
just
we
kind of like
make.
what it was.
Yeah,
And
I
that
ain't gonna
looks
lie.
different for every person.
I was like, I don't know. I don't know, dog. But I definitely got it because, like I said, the risk versus the benefits were severely outweighed, and I just knew that I had to send my daughter back to school, and I just knew I could not take the chance of not being vaccinated if by chance, because her immune system is so compromised, she would probably be one of the unfortunate ones that would get it and then
Yeah.
bring it to me. And
Yeah.
then if I'm not vaccinated whatsoever, and I'm gonna be in a very unfortunate situation because I'm it. Like my daughter and me, we don't live near family anymore. We live in El Paso, Texas, away from family, away from friends. We have a very small support system here, and there are times when I have to even have people come from California to help me with her. So I can't, and most of my friends have sickle cell. So if she gets sick with COVID and gives it to me, and I end up having to go to the hospital, who's going to watch her when the other shoe drops? And I don't have that luxury to say, "Oh, can you come get her?" Because they're compromised as well. They can't take that risk, and I wouldn't ask them to. So I had to put that, you know, I had to put my reservations behind me. I had to do my research, and then I had a lot of deep, impactful conversations with different warriors. And it was like this. We kind of put it to like when we get into a car, we know that God got us, right? We can pray all of that, but we still put that seatbelt on, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
faith without works is dead, correct?
Oh yeah.
So
So true.
we gotta do what's necessary to help God, help Him, help us.
Yes. Yes.
so
Yes.
so that's how I had to look at it. Like it's just like as if I need a seatbelt when I get in the car. That's the first thing I do. I click it. It ain't cause no ticket. I don't care about no ticket. It's because
Yeah.
the smart
Your
thing to
safety.
do to protect myself is to put that seatbelt on and let God take me the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So I had to look at it like that, and I took the Moderna. I took the Moderna, And I actually, so when I first took it, it put me down for like a good 9 days. I was like, the first shot, I was like, oh no, what is this? Like,
Really?
I was
That's
very,
what I was afraid of. That.
yeah, my energy in like the first few days, I had that feeling, that feeling you get when you first about to get sick with the flu or something, and
Mm-hmm.
like your body trying to fight. And it was just like one of them situations. So, um, it really put me, it scared me a little bit because I was like, dang, like, and this the first shot, like they keep saying the second shot worse. And so when it came time for my second shot, I actually had to end up going to the hospital, so I couldn't get my second shot. And it was a whole big mess. My doctor was supposed to save mine. I made an appointment. When I got out, they gave it away. It was just a lot. So with that being said, it literally took, I got my first shot in May. I was supposed to get the second in June. From June until this Tuesday, I had the craziest time trying to find a Moderna shot anywhere in near me in El Paso. So
That's so
I
crazy.
I know, right? So then after a while I was like, well, maybe that's a sign, like, all right, just cool out until, and then I went to my doctor, and I went to my hematologist Tuesday, and I didn't know they even had the shot at the office. So I go and we're talking. He's like, "Oh, are you fully vaccinated now?" And I tell him like, "Well, I got the first one, but I couldn't get the second one." And I told him the same. I'm like, "Well, maybe it's a sign because I can't find it anywhere." And I have looked, like, trust me, I was really trying to get this shot. And so I was like, I just gave up. And so he was like, well, I don't know which one we have, but I'll check. He's like, you could like take both. I'm like, look, let me tell you something. I'm gonna take the one I took. Like, I ain't finna do no mismatch,
Mm-mm. 'Cause
Moderna, Pfizer up in this body. Not me, because I ain't with none of that smoke. So just thankfully, his office actually had the Moderna. And before he checked, he told me, he was so real with me, like it was crazy. He was like, "You don't have a spleen." He was like, "You are high risk. You have lung issues. You have sickle cell. You don't have a spleen. You need, matter of fact, you need the booster." Like, I'm thinking I'm trying to tell you about the booster, and you ain't got the second one. He's like, "No, no, no. Let me check right now." And so I'm like, "Oh, okay." He was like, "We're talking risk versus reward right now, risk versus benefit." And I get what you're saying, but no, your daughter's in school. You don't have that luxury. And so I'm like, I know and I get it. And I'm like, he's like, "So if I have the Moderna, will you take it?" Absolutely. He's like, "You want it in here? Where'd she get it at?" He was like,
oh,
totally.
that's good. That's good.
He was like, "I'm not playing with you."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I got my second shot on Tuesday, and I have been very, like, as far as energy, it's crazy right now. Like, I've been doing a lot of resting just because I don't want to put my body into too much of a compromised state. Um, but I not nearly as bad as the first one. Like, I didn't feel like I was fighting something off. Like, I feel like my body was like, "Oh, okay, you again, square up." Like, it was like
Prepare
ready
for it.
to sign. Yeah, so that was the good thing about it. And so far, like, yes, I had the arms was sore, but I it's better now. It's Friday, I got it Tuesday, that's 3 days. And I feel like even my energy is increasing, and within 3 days being better versus it took a whole 9 days last time. So I go back for my booster, I think at the end of this month. And I'm cool with that because I know that is the right thing to do for myself and for my child. She is only 7. She can't take anything as of right now. So I have to be, hyper vigilant for the both of us, especially knowing that I am her person, you know, and I can't, so I'm prayed up, prayed out, and I got this little vaccine. And so, I
That's
did my job.
you just putting forth the effort. That's all that. I mean, that's doing your part. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that answered Latoya's question. I apologize that it wasn't as quick as you would have liked it answered, but I mean,
I
I feel
think
like
I think we were about 10 minutes too late. Her patients left before we were able to get to it. So, I mean, it happens, you know.
yeah, I mean, you can, if you're not here, you can always come back and watch it
Yeah, she can come.
first.
She'll come
So,
back. Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
I think we gave a great description of what we took, how we went about it, what the
Yeah. Now,
outcome was.
yes, I was going to say when I got mine, I did not have any of those symptoms. I heard that some people, and I think it was the Moderna. I had the Johnson and Johnson. They were first to offer it to us sickle cell patients here where I am. I'm here in the Midwest. And like I said, to me at that point, it didn't matter which one it was
Hmm.
because talked about it with my doctor. I spoke about it with my husband. I prayed about it, and then I just went ahead and did it because I knew that every day that went by, it was more of a chance of it getting closer and closer. And it still feels that way because of all of, the madness that's happening, right now, in Florida and other places where it's really running rampant, especially the Delta.
Texas.
And they said that the Delta is like, don't
That
even,
one cousin with the black nose.
yeah, they said that Delta don't play. Okay. And so that's even worse because COVID-19 by itself, y'all, the coronavirus, this one by itself is a monster. It wants to just squeeze your lungs dry. You know what I'm saying? And so for people that have never been sick like we have and like in the hospital with something where it's like trying to keep your body down and you have to work hard to keep your sanity and keep your wits about you and keep your emotions intact, y'all, it's difficult. And so a lot of people, I think, really underestimated the power of this round, disgusting virus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to have anything more placed upon our bodies because they're already fragile. They're already damaged from the inside out, from the roots. You know what I'm saying? From our bone marrow, from where it comes from. Our bodies fight every day against itself. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this blood, but it's not gonna ain't gonna last long. It's gonna clog up on you and you're gonna be hurting.
The daily struggles
Yeah.
That's every
Absolutely.
day, every night. You know what I'm saying?
every day.
And people expect us to be present and happy and smiling and
And on
doing
the
the work.
inside, going
And
through
we're sitting here like, girl, I should be at home in the bed. I want to scream right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm in this much pain, but it's too much for society a lot of times. It's too heavy for people to actually consider that, even with her big old head, her big bun, her lipstick and her jacket, she's still sick. She's still ill. She's still hurting.
Absolutely. We've been here, ladies, for 2 hours, over 2 hours, and I don't want to keep you guys any longer. My daughter then fell asleep on us. She's like, all right.
this one right here is laying down on the thing, like right here. She's falling asleep. But
She's gone. She's out. I can't even show her. I thought
not to
the
mention
storm was gonna come through.
she barely got off the bus at 7. So yeah, she's ready
Yeah.
to tap out on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to thank you ladies so much, and I want to thank Dima and Master for joining us earlier. I know they had to cut out, but I am like super happy and thankful that you guys, you ladies, joined us for today. And again, the invitation is always welcome to join us as a panelist on the series, because our stories as parents, I feel, needs to be heard. Our experiences. There are far too many parents in the sickle cell community, and I know for the most part there are things they feel like they go through alone. And we advocate and we do this and we do that, but I don't see the parents' voice, true voice of what we go through with our kids being highlighted. And so that's why, me and
It's
Master,
important.
we came up with this idea, and I'm super happy about it. He wants I'm not gonna say he, we want to do every Friday this September because it's Sickle Cell Awareness Month. I don't know if you all are interested, but if you are, feel free to inbox me and let me know. If you want to be a constant panelist on this series for the rest of the month. Usually it will be every other Friday, but he had a bright idea to do it every Friday. So we have different topics. I think next week is snaps. Let's see. Yeah, what is next week? That's a good question. I will. Let me see this right here.
I know this Friday, I won't probably be available this Friday because mommy duty calls. So I won't be available, but the rest of the Fridays I should be fine. I'll be available too. So
Okay.
I'll try to get on Friday, but I can't promise you that. We have camping. So I don't know how it's gonna be out there. I don't
Yeah.
know. So
No, I totally understand, and I will We'll try to make sure. I think what made it go over a little longer this time was for some reason my computer didn't want to work, and my iPad was like, "I got you, let's go." So
tag
usually it's the
me
other way around,
in.
but I'm not mad because the iPad came through strong. Okay.
Right, clutch. Put me in, coach.
Yeah,
Right?
that's exactly what happened. So, we're gonna do topics like relationships, friendships, stuff like that, how to maintain it. Just, we'll get into it. And if there's anyone who's watching who would like to be a panelist within the next upcoming shows, please let me know, because this is not just our experience, but the sickle cell experience. So it's for every sickle cell patient who feels that they want to voice their experiences, especially parenting for this parenting series. So yeah, with that being said, is there any last words anyone want to say before I give my positive words of wisdom?
Can I just say hey to my nieces and my nephew, Natalie, Nicole, and Junior? They're watching and they're like, "Hey, Annie." I'm like reading their
Oh,
comments.
okay, hey.
I just want to say that I'm super happy to be here. I'm super happy to be able to shine some light on sickle cell any day of the week, any time of the day. And I'm happy to meet other successful warriors and successful parents because y'all are doing it. And it makes me know more and more every day that I can too. And so I've been trying to string together as many good days as I can because for a long time I lived in the negative, and that does not help anything. It doesn't help your mind, your spirit, or your body. And so now I just want to share positivity and affirmation and love to anyone within the warrior community. That includes caregivers and medical professionals, family members, anyone that has had to help a sister out, you know what I'm saying, when she was hurting or something like that, thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Again, thank you for watching. Tune in for next Friday's show. Until next time, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Peace.
All right.